Here's the headline I can't shake. We're building systems that can book flights, run code, and touch real money. And only now are we shipping the equivalent of seatbelts. Microsoft just open-sourced an agent governance toolkit that's basically an operating system kernel for AI agents. Policy interception, cryptographic identity, kill switches, compliance mapping, all designed to run at sub-millisecond latency.
And the timing isn't random. The toolkit explicitly points to the OWASP Agentic AI top 10 risks, things like tool misuse, memory poisoning, and rogue agents, plus upcoming regulatory pressure like the EU AI Act's high-risk obligations in 2026. The big story today is agents are moving from demos to production, and governance is becoming a first-class product.
So the question for everyone watching: if you deploy agentic systems before you deploy governance, are you building leverage or building liability? Let's start with Microsoft's release. The way they describe it is telling. Agents aren't just chatting, they're acting. Booking flights, executing trades, writing and running code, managing infrastructure. And their core claim is governance needs to sit directly in the execution path, like a kernel in an operating system.
Right. The Microsoft open source write-up frames it as 7 packages: Agent OS, Mesh, Runtime, SRE, Compliance, Marketplace, and Lightning, meant to cover policy, identity, reliability, and secure plugin lifecycle end-to-end. And they're emphasizing deterministic enforcement at sub-millisecond latency. They even cite a P99 under 0.1 milliseconds for the policy interception layer.
That's an important business signal. Governance used to mean binders and committees. Now it's turning into code you install. In their words, it's framework agnostic, integrates with LangChain callbacks, crew AI decorators, middleware pipelines, so you don't rewrite your agent stack.
HelpNet Security's coverage breaks down the practical layers: cryptographic identity via decentralized identifiers with ED25519 signatures, dynamic trust scoring from 0 to 1000, execution rings modeled after CPU privilege levels, and a kill switch for emergency termination. That's what production needs: controls you can audit, not vibes.
And it ties directly to compliance pressures. They map to EU AI Act, HIPAA, and SOC2 inside the agent compliance layer. So instead of trust us, it's here's the evidence collection and grading.
This is the pivot I'm seeing in enterprise. Security and compliance teams are no longer saying, prove your model is smart. They're saying, prove your system is governable. The moment agents can trigger financial transactions or modify infrastructure, your risk profile changes.
Actionable takeaway. If you're adopting agents in a company, your first agent project shouldn't be the flashiest. It should be the safest. Put governance in place while the blast radius is small.
Exactly. Start with low-risk internal workflows, like observability, documentation triage, or controlled ticket routing. But instrument the system as if it'll become mission-critical, because it will.
Let's connect that to Amazon. AWS quietly shipped something very this is real now. Agentic AI inside OpenSearch for log analytics and incident response.
AWS's What's New post outlines 3 pieces: agentic chat that generates and iterates piped processing language queries, an investigation agent that does plan, execute, reflect loops to produce root cause hypotheses ranked by likelihood, and agent memory so the conversation persists across sessions.
That's a big shift in how OPS teams work. Today, the limiting factor is attention. An outage hits, and your best engineers become human query engines. AWS is productizing the idea that an agent can do the busy work, gather evidence, run queries, propose hypotheses, and hand you an organized shortlist.
But notice how this ties back to governance. The investigation agent is literally executing actions, queries, steps, iterations, and it claims transparency into reasoning. The reason vendors emphasize full transparency into its reasoning is because enterprises need to trust the process, not just the output.
And AWS says it's available at no additional cost, with token-based usage limits. That matters. This isn't a premium add-on for a few innovators. It's a default feature creeping into mainstream tooling.
So what does this mean for jobs? It doesn't replace the on-call engineer, it changes what good looks like. Engineers who can validate hypotheses fast and know where the agent is likely to hallucinate or miss context become the multiplier.
For business leaders, if you want ROI, Ops is a great place. Less mean time to resolution isn't flashy, but it's money. Downtime is expensive. Agents that reduce time to diagnosis pay for themselves quickly. Now let's jump to the physical world. Agility Robotics announced a commercial robots as a service agreement with Toyota Motor Manufacturing Canada after a pilot. And they plan to deploy Digit in manufacturing, supply chain, and logistics operations.
This isn't a staged demo reel. It's a structured commercial agreement after evaluation. The press release frames the motivation as labor shortages and reducing repetitive, physically taxing tasks that create strain and safety issues.
Here's the cross-topic thread. The more autonomy you give machines, whether software agents or humanoid robots, the more your governance problem becomes real-world. A software agent can trigger a bad financial transaction. A humanoid robot can create an OSHA incident.
Exactly. And Agility also references fleet management via a cloud automation platform called Agility Arc. That's where governance shows up. Access controls, audit logs, safe operating envelopes, and what happens when the robot encounters an edge case?
This also changes buying behavior. Robots as a service is like AI as a service. It reduces capital expense, makes adoption easier, and pushes risk and maintenance onto the vendor, at least on paper.
But enterprises still need internal readiness. Your facility has to define which workflows are safe to automate, what the escalation path is, and how humans and robots coordinate. The business win is real, but so is the change management.
Let's hit longevity. The PubMed paper on the trophy study lays out a Phase 2 trial testing for Setin, a senolytic candidate for physical function decline in postmenopausal breast cancer survivors after chemotherapy.
The trial design is concrete. 88 participants, randomized, 1-1-1, double-blind, placebo-controlled. Eligibility includes reduced function defined as a 6-minute walk distance under 400 meters, and the primary endpoint is the change in that 6-minute walk distance.
Why do we care in an AI news show? Because this is what the abundance story looks like on the human side. Extending health span, not just lifespan. And it's also a preview of how AI will be used in trial design, biomarker analysis, and personalized intervention selection.
Also, note the framing. Chemotherapy induces cellular senescence. Senolytics aim to clear senescent cells to reduce inflammation and improve function. Even without a trial result yet, the study signals the field's direction, moving from theory to measurable endpoints in humans.
Pragmatic angle. If your audience is building health AI or biotech tools, the lesson is endpoints matter. Anti-aging sells headlines, but clinical adoption requires operational definitions, like walk distance, frailty markers, and functional outcomes. Translation. The agentic shift isn't only in big enterprise platforms, it's in everyday work tools. When AI can write directly into your systems of record, governance becomes non-negotiable.